Yo! Put this noise down. How's everybody doing out there? I'm back. It's been a while, huh? Disappeared out to the coast for a while, got away from the heat wave and wildfires and valley life. Hope all of you have stayed inspired out there, making some good stuff. I'm going to ease back into things today with maybe some hits, maybe some transitions. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go along. We might listen to a little bit of what you guys have made. Yeah. And I think I've come up with a pretty decent plan to get you guys back into regular packs again. Which is important. Yeah, I think maybe I'll start with some hits today. It's good to ease back into it, right? Shouldn't just jump back into the deep end, right? What has everybody out there been working on over the past couple of weeks while I've been away? I am going to stop all of this reactor noise here. And let's crawl through some, maybe just like some recorded Foley field recording type stuff. Let's do, maybe we'll start with a door, huh? Doors are always good. You have a Moog Sub 37 there now. Nice. That is nice. Awesome. Oh, man. And playing around with that little baby. Definitely feeling some transitions out of these. That's pretty good. Let's start with this one. This big hatch lock. And let's put it into a sampler, shall we? Maybe maybe we'll do two different things with this. First, we'll go with the sampler. Sound is. I like this mid-range sound here. Let's put space into this guy. Go large, and let's do all. Something reflective. And a little distortion, sizzle in there. Go with something kind of unique. We'll spin the wheel. Respect the gazelle. What's up, Paul? How you doing, man? Appreciate you tuning in from sunnyish Maryland. It is sunny here in Portland, and there's little like fluffy white clouds out there today. It feels like we've kind of turned a corner. We've been in this heat wave and like lots of smoke from wildfires. Something good this year. How you doing, homie? I got hair? Yeah, I've always got hair. I've been talking about chopping it off again, though. Been a minute. Let's get our kind of like that rawness of this one. Let's set up a little audio chip. Set our output a bus. Bus as the input over here. Bada bing. Bada boom. All right. You thought I was bald this entire time. I could be going bald. Wait, have you only tuned in on days when I'm wearing a hat? Well, got this window right here. It's like kind of beams lasers into my eyes during the morning hours. But that'll shift soon. All right, so I like that one, but too skitty. Welcome in. It's Looking for someone to mix a song for me. I've been doing music for 3 years, still haven't learned. I'm very willing to pay, so I was wondering if you have a Discord. I could DM you. Yeah, man. It's here's the Discord. We've got a lot of talented folks in the community too. Lots of oh, thank you, Paul. You beat me to it. Yeah, lots of really good wisdom, lots of good folks willing to help out. Paul saying my kid challenged me to fire up hardware I never used. They picked up the red keyboard, Nord Electro 73, hooked it up, turned it on, and it plays great. Me? Not so much. uh, Funny. Challenge them right back. That's what I say. Let's swap this. Or actually, before we swap it, let's see if we can maybe coax a second kind of sound out of this thing. Bring this up a little tighter. That one might be good. Let's take off that reverb. Get out of this space. Nice little spot there. Got a couple of spots here. This one sounds pretty law and ordery, really. All right, let's record these. Blow out. All right, let's play with different sound. That way. What else we got in here? Ooh, just the beginning of this one. Let's drop this one. Ooh, that's gonna sound nice. get this out of this really long guy. Let's put this into maybe a room instead, and to seconds here. Take a look at this shape one more. Oh man. Oh, that's gonna sound all sorts of. We're gonna make those two sound ridiculously. Hey, Will's here. Everybody follow Zev Music. How you doing, homie? I'm back. We were supposed to come back earlier, but saw that it was still 105 here in the valley, and there was smoke everywhere, and I was like, nah. It's pretty big. That is pretty big. Let's get rid of part here. Miss you too, homie. We definitely need to catch up. Where's the show this Friday? Oh my gosh, that's just completely analysis. This is a really good trailer hit right here. Yeah, the West Coast weather has been bonkers. Yeah. We're in for it. Get back to a haul. Kind of short. Open. Smaller than that. No, the BC fires are not down here. We have dozens of our own. Um, None that are like incredibly close this year. But smoke has gotten bad a couple of times in the last week. The other day, it was one of those days where it's just like, man, everyone's just going to feel kind of nauseous and have a headache all day and cough. Yeah. Zev is playing on a rooftop in Long Island City this Friday, bringing my guitar with me for the first time ever for a dress rehearsal for the following Friday when I'll be performing in Chicago. Wow! So you've been busy. Gotta put a little swish hit in front of this one. Nice to hear it, Will. That's awesome. And very well deserved, too. Let's get out of this sampler and sound and something a little bit more entertaining. Let's do some weird metal stuff. Let's plug in a drive here. Dang, Paul. Is that the one that just joined you like a year and a half ago, something like that? Oh, okay. That's 5 years of jamming. Good times, right? All right, let's see what we can find. Let's drive. Let's go into act. Damage. Some metals. I'm going to bring in a second instance. I'm going to tether these two tracks together. Put damage on this one as well. Respect the gazelle. What's up, Seth? How you doing? Hope you've been well, homie. Getting ready to go to work. Also back from vacation. What did you get up to for your vacation, Saffron? Oh, that's ridiculous. Got some water sounds now. One more, just because we can. Let's see if we can get 3 layered together without too much shifting. Let's get into kind of large. Yeah. Booty. Do that. Almost. Sounds about right, doesn't it? Now let's set E. See if I can get through my workflow here. And put this into a stack. Summing. Now this guy, output 1. Now okay. So do this. You like that? I'm feeling like maybe some good trailer action kind of sounds are in store for. Cool. Let's see what Ludi posted. Electronica Fest 14. Oh man, it looks like some good stuff got posted while I was away. All right, Ludi, let's do this. And A1 Skitty, if you're still around, put ears on it. I know you were interested in some mixing, but let's give it a listen ahead. Too far gone. Look at this art, dude. It's awesome. Hey now. Ooh. Is Zev still here? Something tells me if he is, his ears just perked up. This is a vibe, dude. This is cool. It's got kind of like that dark Berlin um feel to it. I think the drop octave backing vocal in the beginning can come up a bit. Um and I kept thinking the same thing for the first like minute or so, and that was yeah, very killer track. Paul is absolutely correct. Is how with a lot of the kind of darker Berlin techno type stuff, you hear this kind of slapback ambience that's built up from the kick, and you just EQ out those lower frequencies, um, so it doesn't mess with the mix, but you end up getting the kind of backdrop ambience from that. Might be something to play with in here. This rumbly pad thing that comes in as a swell. Um, if you put a secondary um, saturation swell on that thing and have it kind of meet at the same peak, it would sound so badass, so badass, so well reinforced. You know what I mean? Um, some more space on the vocals at 241 when they come back in. You've got a good 25 seconds or so to work for a build-up here. You could add just a little bit more delay feedback into some verb and up the dry wet, up like bias it more towards the wet as it's growing to kind of increase the intensity of the whole thing, and then just kind of cut it at 307 or something. I think that might count sound. 345, definitely hearing like some spots where you could be accenting different drum hits um in that beat. If if you do this through an unsynced LFO, just assigned to some subtle overdrive, and then if you use a square wave in there, that basically means that your modulation is either having full effect or no effect at all. Um, but anyway, if you leave that unsynced, then it's going to start accenting um, different notes in your drum pattern as it's kind of cycling through its thing, and it'll kind of give it this a bit more of a swagger, I think, kind of a sort of a polyrhythmic thing, but without actually changing the pattern too much. Really tasty track, dude. Like it. I like it. Is A1 Skitty still here? Perhaps, perhaps not. I'm going to jump back into some effects then. Ludi, thank you. Site in. It's in. Stabbage. All right, let's move away from the perk drill. Stay in metal though. And we'll solo this. Sounds are in. Martian. Ooh. That one's pretty interesting. Did I get your song? Did you post something to the Discord as well? Hey, you did. You want some feedback? So we can do that. Dopamine. What is this? Is this like a dog on a pillow or something, and then it's all been superimposed or something? Imposed. Exposed? All right, let's do this. This one's called Dopamine. Low end on this needs to be wrangled, and the loudness kind of gets all over the place. The ending there is a bit too jarring. 145 a bit too jarring. Um, you want to kind of even these things out. It's okay to have big leaps and jumps in what's being presented, but as soon as you start playing with loudness in that way, you're going to lose people. A lot of people's systems just can't handle it. Um, so you definitely want to kind of rebalance all of this. And if you listen to where your main scream is, I think that that's actually a really good kind of max level for this whole thing. So I'd bring those other elements down to be in line with that. Vocals, just the main vocals. If you were to get those sitting just up on top of the mix just a little bit more, you'd be closer to radio ready on that vocal channel, and then you can kind of match the other vocal channels um, to that in your mix in regards to how you're accomplishing getting it up on top. At 30 seconds, you can hear that this vocal is needing a little bit more reinforcement. It doesn't stand up quite as strong as the other vocal. The sub bass frequencies coming out at 47 are too low and too loud. Um, I would bring the low end cutoff up to 55 hertz at a 12 dB per octave curve, and I would bring down the decibel level of that track by several, probably 5 or 6 dB to start with. At 110, the kind of spoken word vocal track needs to be a bit more separated from the main screaming vocal. It could be set off to the side a bit more. Um, your screaming might actually need to have like a little dip taken out of the middle to make a little bit of room for it, or you could just bring it down in volume. Um, really nice guitar tone here, a nice kick drum too. Oh, the drums. At times, it kind of felt like the snare drum could be just a little bit brighter, that it was a little bit muted for like the intensity of the mix. The kick drum, however, stands up beautifully through the entire thing. Those hard beater mallets really make the difference. 145, like I was saying, luffs need to come down. That's a measurement of perceived loudness. So all of that just needs to come down. And also, it sounds like, and you can see it in the waveform when we're playing through, but it's all kind of at this one peak level, which means we're never actually getting to hear your loud and your quiet. We're just kind of hearing this one level. So, and I get part of it is, the genre, but also part of it is you do have a little bit of room there that you could play with to kind of help accentuate the parts that want to really stand out, right? Those should be the peaks. Um, so yeah, just less limiting, um, less driving to get that brick wall effect. Um, it'll be better. Paul says, I want this in 7.1 surround. Volt dopamine, a module in VCV rack, so had to look it up. Neural tape random sequencer. Think it would work with this dopamine. Nice. Um, oh, okay. So you're only 15. How long have you been doing this? Um, yeah, it takes time. It takes time, but there are a whole bunch of different ways to achieve loudness in a mix without just turning it up or putting a compressor or limiter on it and turning that up. Um, there's some downsides to doing it that way. Um, but the biggest one just being the LUFS. If you were to upload this to um, a streaming service, it's going to get turned down. So, like what we're hearing here, it's on SoundCloud, which is a little less harsh than a lot of the other platforms, but we're probably hearing something that's a little bit different than you're hearing in your DAW. Um, and if you don't have something to measure, like meters to measure the loudness, what is it, Ulean? That is that what? Yeah, right, Paul? 15, right? Absolutely great work. Um, I forget the name of it. Let's look it up really quick. There's a free one that we typically. And oh, I know what I could do. I'll go to Plugin Boutique. And let's. What DAW do you use, Martian? Just started making music, doing vocals for 2 years. It's impressive vocal work for 2 years. For 2 years at 15 years old. BandLab for the synth stuff, just sample dubstep. Gotcha. I can't remember if BandLab has LUFS meter built in. Baloo, welcome in. There is a website called Plugin Boutique. And you can run searches there for plugins, different sorts. LUFS, to put it simply, here I'll open up a meter so you can see what I'm talking about in all of this. Okay, so a decibel meter is almost pointless at times, in that if you're looking at something in your project hit 0 dB and I'm looking at something hit 0 dB in my project, they could be at two very different loudness levels. This is more of a signal strength thing, just to kind of keep this really simple. LUFS, however, is a measurement of perceived loudness, and it's pretty darn consistent. And what you want to do for a track of this style is probably aim for neg 12, neg 10 LUFS, somewhere in there. You're probably capping out up here somewhere. The higher you go, the louder this is. Streaming services will typically turn down your stuff somewhere between here and here. So you can kind of push it a little bit past that. But I wouldn't push much more past that. And I would definitely, like Paul was saying, definitely try to seek out like mentorship, some folks that you trust, like anybody that has a sound, regardless of what kind of music they're making, anyone that has a sound that you're like, oh man, I wish I could get my stuff to sound like that. Those are the folks that you really want to be talking to. You can come back in here. We're here a few times a week. There's a lot of really great folks that come through, a lot of legends. Always willing to kick down really helpful information and feedback and all that good stuff. But 15 years old, man, you're doing this. It sounds pretty darn impressive, honestly, for that age, especially the singing. Like, I'm not sure how you're how you're gonna sound when your voice finishes changing. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a wild ride. It's gonna be awesome. Training your voice at this age is gonna do some stuff for you. Okay, I think I saw another one pop up there, and then maybe we'll get back into a little more sound design. Baloo Bard. Nice rise there. I like the release. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Um, Yo, welcome in, Gabriel. Those deep impacts, there's like three of them or so in that intro. They could be tuned. It sounded like the first one was there, the second one could be up a step or two, and then the next one could come back down. I would wrangle the frequencies on the reverb, just throughout the track, right throughout the track. But at 33 seconds, that one instrument specifically, uh, it's a little unbalanced in a few ways. One, there's too many frequencies being allowed through in the reverb. The level of the reverb is a little high for what's happening. Um, and you also might want to A/B test a couple of different reverbs on a few different instruments in your track. It just kind of felt like the tonality of the reverbs themselves weren't fully aligned with the sound. So just kind of be aware that there is um, this other element to reverb. Each one sounds different. It's really good to listen to them on full wet to understand exactly what you're getting out of your sound, and then compare them to a different one at full wet. Dial them all back, bring up just the right amount. Once you know you have the right one. I would bring the low end cutoff on your lowest track on that sub up to 45 hertz. It sounds like it's rumbling around 30 right now, and it's kind of killing the clarity in your mix. Leave it a really gentle curve, 12 dB per octave, but bring that up to about 45, maybe even 50 hertz. I'd bring the sub down 5 to 7 hertz, or 5 to 7 decibels. And I would also bring everything else in the track. If their low end cutoff is anywhere near that, I would bring it all up. Bring it all up. If it's not a bass element, bring it up to maybe like 100 or so, and see how much more clarity you get out of your mix. Anything that is kind of bassy, bring it up to like 60 or even 80 and see what that feels like. See what that does to your mix. your sub will still be there. Your sub will be more present and less obfuscated. There will be less um, competition. And without those other unnecessary frequencies down there, um, you're going to be able to serve up a lot more clarity in the mid-range sounds in your mix because you'll have more energy to do that. 230, the kick is getting kind of lost there. It felt like you were kind of playing around with some filter stuff and um, more volume change across the tracks over time. This is like just kind of across the board general statement here. I think that you have a lot of interplay between elements right now, a lot of call and response type stuff, but there's not a lot of dynamic interplay between them. So it would be great if there is a call and response happening to drop everything down quite a bit and allow those two things to actually happen. Don't be afraid to use automation for things like panning as well as volume, and don't be afraid to make really big decisions and sharp changes in volume in presence with some of these different players in the mix, because once you have several different things popping off at the same time in a mix, you start to lose a lot of people because a lot of people don't really have the ability to focus on all of those things. So instead of focusing on all those things, they kind of stop focusing on all of the things, and it just kind of turns into this um, like non-engaged experience for them, right? So yeah, just make more room for individual sounds to kind of have their moment, even if it is just for a moment. Gabriel, you can. Oh, and you did. Martian, we can give it a quick listen. You bet, Baloo. Eric, it's good to see you, man. All right, Martian, normally the way we do this is we let people come through with once. We're just going to listen to a little bit. The mix on this one is better, actually. Okay, so right there where everything kind of becomes overblown and you lose all the clarity around stuff and your drums feel kind of pushed back, even though there isn't really much else in the mix, it's because there's way too much sub-frequency present. So everything below 50 hertz down there, just get rid of. And it's also running into its loudness limit. Like everything starts to fall apart past a certain point. And when you start to lose the power, even though you've cranked everything up already, that's you've kind of went past the breaking point, if that makes sense. Keep the zombies dancing. Really great guitar tones again.
I think it would be cool if I added a Twilight Zone quote to the mix.
How about you? You're still on Earth or on the ship with me?
Yeah, this one's better. Yep, this one's better. I'm going to move on to the next one, but know that if you were to go back and listen to the first track and then listen to this one and sit there like with pad and paper or notepad on your screen, right? And just start to write down some things that are popping into your mind. You may not have all the terminology, and that's totally fine. It doesn't have to be technical feedback for yourself, but just try to make sense of the differences that you're hearing, not in anything else, but just the quality of the mix and try to put words to it. It can totally be fine if you're using like, cooking terminology or sports terminology or whatever you have to do to get through, because that stuff can be a little tricky while you're listening to it. But do that and then step away from it for a bit and then do that again, and see if you can hear anything else. It's just kind of the beginning of the process of critical thinking and developing kind of a language that you can speak to yourself in, that makes sense, right? That can kind of cut through all of the jargon, like the technical jargon. And then that way you can at least have kind of your own ideas about your mix and what could be improved upon or what you feel might be lacking or whatever before other people start telling you. And then that way, when you hear feedback, you can feel if it's in alignment with what you were feeling, because you've got to keep all of your stuff moving toward your ideal, not somebody else's. So do that. Take the time to do that. And each time you write a track for the next few tracks, it might be good to go back and listen to a few of these, and make some notes in comparison. We call it A/B comparing, right? You're comparing one against the other. Yeah, I think it'll probably help. And keep bringing stuff by. Eric, we're up. Let's do this. This one's called Bloom. Hello. It's all good, Eric. I thought it felt a little less polished than what you normally bring by. I like the vibe. I like the direction all this is going in. It sounds like you already have a handle on the transition stuff, but I want like a little more brightness and surface tension and finger work off that percussion. If you put some overdrive on it, target it around 10K, give it a good, I don't know, something decent, 5 dB worth of drive, maybe even more. Turn it down. No like disruption, no distortion. Um, just enough saturation to generate the harmonics there. Yeah, through the whole thing. I think it would just sound great to have those be a bit more present and ring just a little bit more, you know? Um, it's the drummer in me. Other than that, I like this. There's a few elements that feel kind of pushed back, but I feel like I really shouldn't get into too much of the mix stuff because you might just be bringing around the next version of it soon. But there were a couple little synth embellishments that I felt like, oh, those felt kind of not really held back or at low volume, but not quite supported enough. Like it needed just a little bit of EQ and maybe a little bit of saturation, or EQ and just a touch of compression. Um, yeah, that's what I got for you, homie. Good vibe. Gabriel, let's check this. Put some upward compression on the perks so they're brighter or fuller in the final version. Oh, perfect. Yeah, yeah. Anything that will help them feel a bit more open and expansive. The thing about using a saturation and targeting a high frequency is that you're going to get some of those gaps that are there. You know, when you're listening to um, good percussion live, how it's got this kind of ringing quality to it that is it it doesn't always translate in a recording, not directly. It often comes back to life if you can like fill in some of those little gaps. And you can even see it in your EQ. Like if you look at the original signal and you put some overdrive on it, target a high frequency, you can actually kind of see these little peaks that are generated in between. Um, and that really helps with that kind of ringing quality. You know, it's good stuff. Of course, the mix is better. Of course. All right, Gabriel. This one's called New Jazz Type Beat. Blame you. Michael's here. What's up, Liquid Phase? How you doing, homie?
Can't even blame you, oh, I can't even blame you, blame you.
Yeah, this is cool. I want to go back and listen to the sound effect you have at the very beginning here. Yeah, this drink mix. I feel like if you have that drink being poured before that vocal loop starts coming in, it's going to be appreciated more, right? Like you're going to sit down, you're going to have a drink, and then boom, this vocal starts, and maybe even put a little transition effect in there, like a little whoosh. Um, maybe it coincides with the glass being picked up or set back down or whatever. But I think that that is actually the intro moment. At 40 seconds, maybe a small transition effect, just to kind of keep the flow going and interest up. Small embellishments can make all the difference. I like the new resequencing play around 122, and I think you could do more of it. I think that it would actually be kind of the lifeblood of the track, honestly. 137, another transition effect. And these aren't like big transitions. These can be just tiny little whoosh or something, and at 147, sorry, big sirens outside. At 147, I would probably try playing with the vocals in a slightly different way. Since everything else has been kind of gated and repeated like that, maybe something that's just a little different, like some bit crush or a small glitch or maybe a small reversal or something, just a little bit something. Other than those little things, I think that your mix is pretty good. Your beat is pretty good. I think it's just a matter of interest at this point. What tiny little things can you do differently in there to keep the interest up? Good stuff. Michael, how the heck have you been? Liquid Phase, Samsung Orange Ringtone. How are you? And Jack Spade. Welcome in. Sorry, there's these sirens that keep popping up out there. And I'm like, where are they? They sound very close, but. All right, Jack. Soul Butter. How you doing, homie? Taking so long.
Quarter past the hour. You said you wanted to talk. My heart inside my throat. You asked me if we can just walk. So I stumble across my words, hoping that my thoughts go unheard and tell you. Believe me, we'll be okay. Please don't let this drift away, I beg you. I guess we fell out of love. I know to blame the both of us. How the hell did you move on? Why is it taking me so long? I know we gave it all we had. Took all the good times with the bad. How the hell did you move on? Why is it taking me so long? Taking me so long. Taking me so long.
Jack, this is awesome. I would say wrangle the EQ or wrangle the frequencies on your reverbs. EQ them so you eliminate the low end and the high end on both. You'll know it when you find it up top because it's really just about reflectivity. Down low, it can be a little bit trickier because neither of those instruments actually have, like your vocals and the piano, neither of them really have a whole lot of low end presence. And I totally get that you don't want to, disrupt their life force and what little gravity they have. So I would probably cut it around 100 to 300, somewhere in there, just with a gentle curve. Um, Up top, probably want to bring it down as much as like 6K or so. 127, there's a new backing instrument introduced there. I've lost track of what it was. Maybe it was stringish kind of, but anyway, it was getting smothered there. Maybe a small transition at 139. I'd bring your sub cutoff to 50 hertz. Any other kind of low instrument in the mix, bring it up to at least 80. And then anything above that mid range and higher, bring it up to at least 100. Just so you can slim up the amount of frequencies that you are needing to render, right? Because all of those are like all the low end frequency stuff sucks up a lot of energy. So that energy could be other sounds in your rigs. I'm learning how to speak again after being away for a couple of weeks. 150 volume mix right here. It felt like the hats were kind of out of line loudness wise with the rest of the mix. The bass was boomy. After you make these changes to the low end cutoff, you're going to have to take the volume down on several different elements in your mix probably, because they're all going to have a perceived greater loudness after you cut out those lowest frequencies. So volume mix is probably going to need to be touched in general. Really nice kind of sandbox moment with all of the different interplay between elements. All of your modulation choices were really fun and pretty fresh. Just another aside, I would watch resonance level on your filters when you're sweeping. If you go too far down in frequency while you still have a resonant peak on that filter, it's going to bloat those lowest frequencies. And for a moment, it's going to kind of slur your mix. It causes a bit of a thing, some sounds in the mix. So just kind of watch that. If you are going to go way down with a filter that's got resonance, just bring the resonant level down as it gets closer to like 150 or 200, and then when it comes back up out of that, and bring your resonance right back up where it was before. And yeah, Jack, it is, of course, but I'll do one better. I'll just put this in here. And there you be. Hey, look at that. It's already signed. Michael would put this onto Swamp Music. You see this? It's a good day to show up, share some of your music. I would absolutely recommend following up with Liquid Phase, Jack. He's a great guy. He's got a good label, doing good things. That is legit, yes. All right. What was I doing in here? I think I was making some sounds. I think. Yeah, oh, that's right. Michael. We should catch up. We should catch up, homie. Catch up. What can we do with this? Well, that's some weird stuff. Pretty wonky. Hoo-hoo. Ooh. OhmLab's been around for many years. Okay. Rattly, let's wrangle you in really quick. All right, let's say that we like that. getting this up here. It's a little flubby. That again. We can probably carve that. Okay. Grab this one. How about that, Jack? Yeah, like I was saying, it's been around. OhmLab's been around for quite a long time, 15 years or so, I guess. Um, in its current form, anyway. Also had my hand in a lot of different startups and stuff, so might be familiar from that as well. That's a weird kit right there. Captain Crunch and Punch kit. Okay, this is actually a fun kit. I'm not sure I've ever actually played this one. Wonder Wobble Volume 1. That was an old promotional pack that I released when we were still building ADSR back in, like, I want to say Wonder Wobble was like maybe 2012. If I remember correctly, it was massive. And Yeah, if I remember, it was a just a like an exploration of modulation, right? Not your typical dubstep wobbles for 2012. Ah, that one is 2014. Deep Bionic Volume 1. Yeah, that was another mini pack. That one only has like maybe 5 patches in it or something, if I remember correctly. I retired a lot of stuff many moons ago. Um, but I do remember that as well. I was giving away a pack a week pretty much inside of a lot of the tutorials that I was building for ADSR while we were still getting it off the ground. And Massive was what was the backbone of it all. That's like how we built the empire, really. Hmm. Seth, I was just going through the funky pack with someone last night. Eric, back home. Welcome back home. Yeah, I've never played with the Captain Crunch and Punch kit. This is fun. Okay, well, I'm going to come back and I'm going to revisit that one because this one seems like it's going to be fun to make quite a few things with, really. Eric, if you wanna throw the track up, that's fine. Yeah. Search my on your dad's amazing. Oh, Jack. It's funny. What other packs do you have in there? You got anything from a Sound Freaks label? Chances are you probably got a lot of stuff because I've done a lot of um, like branded buyout packs for different labels as well. Kind of all over the place over the years. Yo, Dave, what's up, man? How you been? Ooh. Oh, snap! Halloween is coming. Hmm. August. Shoot, I should get some. I need to get some Halloween stuff out. I should have done that already. Ooh. Let's take these a little left to center. That's solid. Okay, if I was to bring back in this guy. There we go. All good, Eric. Oh. Okay, why aren't you? Oh, because I'm out of key range. It's true. It's true. Paul, take care, homie. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. I don't think we have access to the mapping on the snap. That's great. Let's take all of these different velocities. Let's run them down. Ah. Ah. I want to let. Let's go. Locked. Slapping piano strings is darn satisfying. Now, all right, let's bring that back up here. Ooh. You know, I haven't actually. Let's do that and then we'll back, Eric. Um. Gosh. '23. Cinematic hits and tack. So yeah, Eric. So what I've done is I've mixed up 3 different kontakt kits, and then I'm triggering them all at once in a sum stack, and it's writing this audio track over here. So it's actually a combination of a few different things. I know. Americans, we're just like, wait, the rest of the world does it this way? Then we're going to do it this other way. Eric, you know, it's okay to be scared of commitment. It is. But committing to audio isn't quite the same as committing to, like, a roller coaster or marriage. You can do it. You could do it. Seriously, though, we need to have like a little reactor workshop. You know how many times I flattened a track without making a duplicate? Ableton folks, man. I get it. Oh no. Can't you just undo that? Isn't there like an undo machine in there? Like a wayback machine? Jack, you're on FL. You'll flatten it, work on other things. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I tend to keep a mixed workflow, especially when I'm bouncing directly to audio. So what I'll typically do is, as you can see here, none of these have any kind of effects on them. So these sounds up here, if we go back and we listen to a couple of them, they're pretty dry actually. I mean, they're layered, so they're very interesting. But now what I'll do is I'll chop these, strip silence out of all of them, put a fade curve on them, and then start processing them with different types of, saturation and reverb and whatnot. Give them kind of their own unique character, and then I'll do that a whole bunch of times for each one. So out of, say, 10 or 20 source sounds, I might end up with a couple hundred derived sounds from them. And then I still have these original bounces that I can go back to because I'm always kind of working in a top-down fashion. I'll copy down, or the bounce in place method is really slick, right? Because you're always leaving the original behind you. So it's kind of this breadcrumb workflow. And for someone like me, it really, really works because that's also adding an audio file to your project folder in real time. So even if your project crashes and you didn't get like one of those super lucky autosave moments, you've still got everything that you were bouncing in place on your hard drive, which is nice. Okay, we're gonna go listen to your stuff, right? Let's go do that. Redemption. Slim 2. It's great for CPU management. Yeah, that's great. There's like so much more of the like the Eric finish on this. This is good. It's got some good sauce. Jacques, welcome in. If I'm saying that correctly. I think a little movement on the air would feel so satisfying after that first transition at 139. Like it just towards the end of it, piecing out if it just went left to right. Um, don't forget to adjust for loudness on the perks after saturation. And you can EQ those high perks, just like the little, they sounded like, I don't know, like little timbales, and I'm not sure if there was some claves kind of hidden back there or what, but if you group them, you can put a separate EQ on them and add a little accent to the mid highs and highs, like 1K, 7K, or like 2K, 5K, something like that. You can find a nice little balance ratio there of which parts of the unique timbre you want to exploit, but that I think that would probably help that moment too. First streamer to say it right. Whew, man. Hope I get a donut or something. Yeah, it's tight. This is good, and yeah, the mix is so much better, and it helps to have those little embellishments, the little transitions. That's good. It's good stuff. 1 o'clock. Gorgeous outside. Right? Yeah, I do too. I like the third drop. Yeah, in fact, if we go back and listen, just really quick. I like this too, your filter playing here. You know what? Move that thunderclap back a beat, like to make it tighter so it starts a little bit sooner. Put just a small amount of reverb on there. It can be a big reverb, just a small amount of it. It doesn't need to be very audible. And then put some saturation on it, like a fairly heavy amount. And you could go ahead and stick with the overdrive because it's really transparent, but push it like a good 6 dB drive or so. You're going to adjust down like maybe 3 dB in output levels. So it's going to have an audible jump. It could be louder. But if that happens a tick sooner, like 1 beat sooner, I think it would feel a bit more aligned with that transition. And it deserves to have a little more spotlight on it, I think. Yeah, it's almost 2 beats. Yeah, it's like a beat and a half behind or so. But if you scoot that up a bit and saturate it, I think it would sound boom. Because it's going to carry out and rumble for a second, right? And you're gonna have more of that disclosed once you saturate it too. So I think I do like the tension too, but I think you're going to hear more of the tail, so it might even feel like it's ending at the same place. Or if you want to keep the impact at the same place, you could put a small transition effect right in front of it, right? So it's more like a swish hit. So there's a little precursor. Yep, 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 yeah. Sweet. Jacques, let's do this. This one's called 40 Poem. Poems are great. It's a good one to end on. Let's do this. Oh. Jacques, nice work on the keys. Yo, Chimera, what's up, dude? Welcome in. Jacques, this is awesome. And Eric, I'm glad that it sounds better lined up. That works out well. The only gripe that I have on this one right now, Jacques, is that the drums feel a little detached, kind of emotionally and mix-wise from the rest of the arrangement. And part of it is because um, it's a rock kit and you've got the orchestral sounds. Those things can blend quite well together. I think that there needs to be a bit more space for them to breathe in, just like the rest of your instruments. Um, some saturation on those drums to the point that the toms ring out a little bit when you play through one of those fills. Once those start to ring out, now it's starting to sound a little bit more true to life with the drums. You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of hard to leave drums in this more flat position when everything else has so much attention being paid to it in regards to the delivery and again, just having the allowance, the opportunity to ring out in just the right kind of space. So there's a couple of things there that could help spice up the drums. And also you might want to consider layering in just like a couple of orchestral drum or percussion instruments. It could be the big bass drum, right? You could have like a rum bum bum in there to kind of reinforce a couple of spots. It could be some big crash cymbals at just the right time. There could even be like I could hear an opportunity for like a little chime run or something like that. But if you were to find just a little bit more alignment with the rest of the sounds in the mix, I think it's going to turn out better for you. And I think that if you were to take the MIDI just a bit off grid, and humanize the delivery. So play a little bit more with velocity change over time. Um, don't get everything quantized right on the grid. I think everything starts to feel just even better. But definitely spend a couple of minutes looking around at some orchestral um, drum pit instruments in general and see what you can find. It's good stuff. DJ Chimera, what you've been up to? Eric. Big love, homie. Am I familiar with Lander? Yes, I am. Um, I don't have great. Well, I've never lied to you guys before, so I'm not going to start now. I have not had great experiences with Lander. I've never taken my stuff to Lander, but when I was still teaching sound design and stuff at Pure Mind, we did have them come in and speak because they wanted to speak to the class and like talk about some stuff. And it was odd. It was odd. They kind of harvested a bunch of ideas from the students and bounced. And I've had several people bring me stuff that they've run through, and it's been a while. It's been a while since this occurred. It's been probably several years now at this point, to be fair. Um, but the stuff was not mastered in any way or changed in any way that was specific to the track that had been uploaded. It was all pretty much the same thing being applied to all of them. So um, that's Lander specifically. What are my impressions of AI driven mastering engines in general? There's a lot that are good about those things. There's a lot of stuff that actually ends up coming out quite good. If you take a look at what Isotope has done over the past 15 years, and you pay close attention to what each of the features are doing, they've moved more and more and more into this kind of AI um, space over the years. And there are absolutely magical outcomes with some of that stuff. I think at the root of all of it, uh, for me, it comes down to, you want to know your tools and what you can get out of them, what was intended to get out of them, right, to help you get there. Um, but it's important to support the right stuff, in my mind. Keep supporting the right stuff. That stuff will get better. You support the wrong stuff, it never really gets better, you know? Jacques, you are welcome. Oh, see, now Michael can be a bit more free, I think, with his tongue and all of this. I just have so many different relationships in the industry, and I've never been shy about sharing um, my thoughts directly with folks, but I try not to speak ill of people or companies outside of those conversations, right? Because people can make their own decisions. I will say though that if you don't see reviews from me on stuff, or you never see me talking about or using any specific product or service, is probably because I'm not all right with it in one way or another. Yeah. Um, Jacques, this was great, man. I'm glad to see that you've got some orchestral drum stuff that you can poke through. I think that it will probably help this. And don't forget the reverb on the drums is going to be super important. It's got to be just the right kind of reverb. So definitely A/B test a couple of different reverbs against each other, and be sure to listen to the wet signal of that reverb before you move on and feel like it's the right choice, just so you know exactly what it sounds like. It's a lovely piece. A lovely piece. Saf does not trust the machine. All right, kitty cats. I think. Do I teach mastering? I do. I do. You know who else does is Tom, Masters by Iggy. Um, I think he recently made some kind of an offer to the community about a discount on bringing some stuff in, you might want to reach out to him as well if you're just looking for like a turnkey. But yeah, absolutely. Okay, so over the next couple of weeks, maybe even few weeks, there might be a little bit more wonkiness in live stream schedule. My kids start school back soon, and we've got a couple of before the school year starts kind of functions that need to be attended to and whatnot. So there might be a couple of changes. But aside from that, I would like to figure out a couple of workshops that we could put together like as a group, because I know that a lot of people have been trying to get in for one-on-one training for a very long time and have not been successful because I've just been too busy. But I think that we could swing a few workshops in the near future, and I know that we've had this conversation before, but I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are about stuff that you'd be down to learn about, like kind of in a group setting. Be virtual, of course, so you don't have to worry about that. But fun to know what you guys are really itching to learn right now, and I think we could build some stuff around it and keep the groups small enough to where everybody is having like a really high quality experience. Oh, a link for training, Chimera? You can hit the website. I can't remember if I have the page up or not right now. Here, let's just take a look together. I might have hidden it a while ago because I haven't been able to do much for folks. Toxic, welcome in. Yeah, I don't. But if you just want to shoot me an email, ohmlabmusic@gmail or holler@ohmlab.tv or any of my emails, and DM me over Discord or whatever, we can chat. Yeah, I must have taken it down. I probably just hit it. I probably just hit it. I was getting too many people that were disappointed. So I'll get that back up there. Because Saf, I know you want to book some stuff. But we'll get it all sorted. Mastering for you, I feel like my tracks are missing that extra oomph. Yeah, okay, so we can have a chat about it, Chimera. And if you feel like I'm the right guy to help you, then I'll help you. Saf, I will push it live for you again. And if you don't see it live later today, poke me and remind me, and I'll get it done. I think I'm going to go take a break and walk outside and stuff and enjoy some of this glorious weather we're having here, since it's not smoky or 105. So get it while the getting's good, I think. Let's see who's streaming right now. Let's see if we can drop you guys off somewhere fun. Hey, and Jack, if you're still here, welcome back. It's fun to reconnect with folks after so many years. Whoa, look at that. Thugshells has a couple hundred people in her room right now. Let's go say hi to Thug. Let's see what she's up to. Oh, it looks like she might be DJing today. All right. I will see you guys on the flip. Friday will be a feedback stream, so make sure you bring your tracks and drop them early if you want to be heard. Until then, stay inspired, and I will see you on the flip. I appreciate you guys. Peace out.